All right, so this is an activity that we do a lot with kids. We have been working with a group of people, a group of journalists, and they have made a project called Everyday Africa. And you can see, I'm already going off script, so this is going to be a little rambling. You can see this is what we did on the first workshop. This is the kids who are here, who are in the class. These were their answers to the question of what do you think of when you think of Africa on the left before the workshop, and then after on the right-hand side. So you can see a little bit of what they learned. So the guy who led that first workshop, he's a journalist named Austin Merrill, and he's a writer based in Brooklyn, New York. And he wanted the kids to kind of, after they said those words, he was like, okay, so why are you saying those words? Why are those the words that are coming to your mind, you know, when we say Africa? And they said, well, because that's what's on TV. And, you know, as you can see, Ebola is the top choice. There was a lot of discussion of Ebola that day. And they were saying, you know, Ebola is a big disaster. It's a big story. So that's what they mostly show on the news. And they're right. And here at the Pulitzer Center, we try to focus a little less on what is mostly in the news and a little more on what we might be missing from the news. And so that's kind of our motto, as it were. We support journalists to go all over the world and do projects on issues that we might be missing. So maternal health issues, climate change, kind of the long-term, the slow burn stories that don't tend to make the headlines. And so, as you can probably imagine, the Everyday Africa project was a really natural fit into that theme. And that was founded by actually 2 of our grantee journalists. So we give travel grants to journalists to go and do those stories, and then we help get them placed in media outlets. And so 2 of those journalists, Austin Merrill and Peter DiCampo, they were in the Ivory Coast in 2012. And they had both spent a lot of time in Africa, and they were really frustrated with the way that it's portrayed in the Western media, and kind of giving us these notions that Ebola is all there is in Africa, and stuff like that. And so they started this initiative called Everyday Africa. It started as a Tumblr and moved to an Instagram. And I checked today, they have 117,000 followers. So if you have Instagram, you should absolutely follow Everyday Africa. It spawned a lot of sister feeds: Everyday Asia, Everyday Iran, Everyday Middle East, Everyday Eastern Europe, Everyday USA, and then Everyday Everywhere. And you should follow all of them if you can. But so Austin and Peter and Allison Shelley, who is here tonight, and I don't know where she is. She's in the back. So Allison is one of the contributing photographers to Everyday Africa, and she has been really crucial in our education outreach around the Everyday Africa movement. So Austin, Peter, and Allison are really interested in using the idea of Everyday Africa, which is so easily adapted to education, and kind of figuring out how that works in classrooms. So having students identify what do you wish the media would portray differently about your community, about where you live, or what is missing from your story, and then producing their own media to fill those gaps. So that's what these guys did tonight, or the last 4 months actually, which is culminating tonight. We've had them all around DC, as I'm sure you all know, taking photos of their stories. And so we did a series of 4 workshops at the school. The Everyday Africa founders, Peter and Austin, they led a couple, Allison led a couple, and we talked about photography, and we talked about telling stories with pictures, we talked about angles and shadows and lines and all the basics, and then they went out and did their own work, and that's what you're seeing here tonight. And so I wanted to thank a bunch of people really quick. Sorry, guys. First of all, to all the students who've worked so hard and who have been so much fun to hang out with. Every time I hang out with them, I'm so happy for the rest of the day. So you guys have been awesome. Thank you. And to their teachers, Ms. Coleman, Mr. Karolinsky, and Mr. Green, without whom this could not have happened. They're amazing. You guys can clap. I heard someone clap. uploaded literally hundreds of photos to the Google Drive. This is a prolific bunch. So that Austin and Allison and Peter and I could look the photos over and we could talk about them in workshops. To all the faculty at the Inspired Teaching School, because clearly you guys are doing some things right there. It's been you guys have been great to partner with. The DC Arts and Humanities Education Collaborative, who has 2 representatives here tonight also. That's how this workshop got started. ITS was a partner school and we are a member, and it's an organization that brings the arts and humanities education to DC schools, and I think that's so important, and we wouldn't be here without them. And to everyone at the Pulitzer Center who's been great, Jin Ding, who's right here, actually curated this exhibition, so she did a great job. And to Austin, Peter, and Allison, who led 4 amazing workshops. And to parents, a lot of you guys are here tonight. We have a term in international journalism called fixers. A fixer is someone who's in the country that you're going to, and it's their job, usually they're a local journalist, and it's their job to translate and get you around and keep you safe. And I think that's what the parents kind of played, that fixer role. I'm guessing in this project, you guys probably did some transportation and you probably did some observation, and we really appreciate that. So now I'm going to stop talking and turn it over to Ms. Coleman, and then we're going to hear from a couple of the photographers. Letitia Coleman. A little closer. I don't know if I was doing it right. Okay, that's good.
So yeah, Amanda started talk about the parents, and I definitely want to say thank you so much. When she said that there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos, and so I know what that means for you, because there are also like 10 photos of the same thing. So it means that you were there patiently waiting while they got just the right angle and just the right setting and just the right story. So thank you so much for that and your patience, because we couldn't do this without you. On behalf of the entire Inspired Teaching team, we want to definitely thank the DC Arts and Humanities Collaborative, the Pulitzer Center. This is fabulous, beyond anything that we could have imagined or hoped for. So Amanda, you guys are awesome over here. Thank you so much for this opportunity and making this possible for these guys, so that they can tell their story through photos. When we selected the Everyday Africa option from the DC Arts and Humanities Collaborative, we had no idea that we would get this benefit from it. We started worrying about time and location and cameras and all the logistics pretty early on, but little did we know that we had Amanda. So she made it all happen for us. The cameras are all donated from the center and on loan so that the kids can take them home for weekends and all those kind of things. So it's really, really, really a support system that they provided for us to make this possible. This experience has been the gift that keeps on giving. The biggest gift this experience has given our students is perspective. Students no longer look at Africa as this dark continent full of poverty and war and Ebola. They now look at Africa as a place that's similar to them. While the geography might be different, there are families that have dinner together in Africa too. They're fashion-forward youngsters with trendy clothes and taking selfies in Africa too. And there are students in Africa who are learning and in schools and playing sports and enjoying music just like they do. And for them to see that and to have a different story is just priceless. So thanks to Austin, Amanda, Allison, and Peter, also known as the A+P team. Our students know a lot more, not only about Africa, but they're pushing themselves to see other stories differently. And that is invaluable for us as teachers. Through the use of photography, Allison also brought Dasani's story into our classroom. Dasani is a homeless girl whose dreams mirror the same dreams that our students have. Only her dreams are hindered by her life experiences as a homeless child. And for the conversations that came out of Dasani's story, you can't put a price tag on those. You can't. It was absolutely fascinating the way that our students thought about Dasani and her story, and that was through photography. So the Everyday Africa experience also opened up conversations about the differences in wards in our own cities. So students started talking about stereotypes of residents in Southeast DC, as we know what we hear on the news. And so we had conversations about that part of the city and what does that mean for kids who live there? Are they any different than you? And so these conversations didn't just go globally, they happened here locally as well. So students look at things a lot with more intent, and they have more perspective. But not only did we gain greater perspective, we sharpened our photography skills. Angles, colors, setting, all those things now matter. It's not just take a picture and then I'm done. Even on the most basic level, yes, student selfies have improved. They just take longer, but the quality is definitely better. Students look at historical and contemporary works of art with an analytical and critical eye. And I don't know if the A+P team really realized that because they share their time and talent with us, they gave us something really invaluable. And we don't count that as a small thing at all in Inspired Teaching. We're here to help students learn about the beauty of the world and the complexities in it. And this opportunity to look at it and tell their story from photos brought that to them. And so we are forever grateful. We're so happy to have this partnership. And thank you so much. And I think it's now time to hear from someone of the photographers.
All right, first up, Jeffrey Paris, where you at?
Good evening.
Hold it real close. Right here? We sit
Yeah, there we go.
Good evening. Thank you for attending our first photography showcase. We would like to extend a sincere thank you to Pulitzer Center for hosting us. Thank you, Amanda Ottaway, Peter DiCampo, Austin Merrill, and Allison Shelley for hosting us. For teaching us so much about photography. Photography is important to me as a future doctor. This will help me as a future doctor because if I see something I might need as a reference, I could take a picture of it and send it for later. I learned a lot from my photography sessions. Two important tips I learned are: one, make sure you have everything you want to capture in the frame. Another one is, if you want to get a picture of something tall, turn the camera 90 degrees instead of having it back all the way up. I gotta go outside to get that. Thank you for this great opportunity. Through this experience, I have learned to appreciate photography more and change my perspective on the world. Thank you.
Is that better?
It's hard to tell now.
Is that better?
I would go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a lot better. Faith Pearson.
The funny part about it is they folded their speakers, and I was like, I should fold my notes too.
Good evening and welcome, Pulitzer friends and families. Thank you to our ITS friends and families for sharing this evening with us. I learned a lot from our photo sessions. Two important tips that I learned are, if you stand in a certain spot, you can take better pictures. Also, you can take a picture in motion and it will also look good. In my photo, you will notice how I use two things I learned. You can see that I am in motion, rocking back and forth in the chair. My dad snapped the picture right in time. My dad stood in a certain part of the room to take the photo. He did those things because I taught him how to do it. Thank you for teaching us so much.
Amina
Good evening, and thank you for this great opportunity. I really enjoyed our work with the Pulitzer Center and the Everyday D.C. project. Austin, Amanda, Allison, and Peter taught me a great deal. I learned how to tell a story with pictures. Photography is more than just taking pictures for a newspaper. It's finding scenery to show what places are really like. Unlike what we normally see about D.C., in my picture you will see how D.C. can be a calm and relaxing place. Thank you for your time.
Kylie Miller.
Good evening, and thank you for this great opportunity. I had a very good time taking pictures for our Everyday D.C. project. I learned a lot during our photo sessions. Two important tips that I learned are to work with shadows and to try to make your photo tell a story. I took a lot of photos for our Everyday D.C. project, but I chose this picture because it tells a story. It tells the story of two friends. I think this mural is both funny and cool. Thank you for taking the time to teach us that we are all different, but we are also the same. Thank you.
Owen, are you here? Okay, so this is going to be a little tricky to pull off, but we are going to take some questions from the audience, and we are going to pass around the mic because we've got some people recording. So if teamwork is good. Any questions for the photographers from the audience in the purple?
Can some of the photographers name some of the other places that they took pictures besides around the school?
Like, some people took pictures at their houses. Some people took pictures at their houses and yeah, at their houses.
Some people took pictures by their neighborhoods and other places and at the store, I guess.
We also took pictures around places like the metro or places you would pass a lot when you're driving or something. We also took pictures probably at the gas station or like the children's around, like probably up the street at the children's hospital. We also took pictures of people who we love and who are important to us.
We took pictures of things we do after school.
All right, two
We
more.
took pictures of places where it's nearby our house and we like to go to, we like to go on the weekend. And stores.
Okay, well, last one. And we're going to take a question.
Okay, wait, is it
Yeah.
working? Okay, so we took pictures in the hood and and places we enjoy going and like we took pictures of things to express other feelings and everything stuff.
Beautiful. If you guys want to turn around, you don't have to not face the audience. I mean, you don't have to face this. Okay, Owen Strasberg is going to say a couple words. No? We'll take another question. All right, we'll take another question in the meantime.
Okay.
Is there any questions?
So how did you all select the pictures from the hundreds that was the best one you took?
For all the pictures, there were some that were really good, and there were some that we did not like. But we just chose the one that we thought was like really good. We just thought that, well, would be nice. Yeah. Also, we kind of
Mariah, you want to add something else?
How did you pick the photos you showed in the exhibition?
Oh, okay. So, well, Ms. Coleman and Mr. Karolinsky asked us come to the computer and choose a picture that you took in the past for a profile picture or to send to the photographers. And so it was really hard and it took forever because most of them were really good and some of them we kind of like, but they probably were off subject or something really funny. And like me, I tried to choose 2 pictures that I really liked.
We tried to take, well, first we had to see which ones were the best, like Mariah said. And, when we did that, we would, well,
All right, last one.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of people chose pictures that they chose because maybe it had something that they really liked, like a dog maybe. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna turn it over to Owen for a couple minutes.
Let's go, Owen! Thank you. I want to share with you the experience that I took away from my work with the Pulitzer Center. I don't want to talk about what I learned, but one of the most powerful experiences that happened to me. So the last time the Pulitzer Center visited, a photographer that was working in China, Chen Yin, she had some pictures of miners who got silicosis. And basically they would get it because they were working in the mine and they got exposed to too much black dust. So when she showed us the photos, I just felt like that's really sad. And well, it was. Like one of the men that survived, he has to stay hooked up with oxygen and like 24/7, like all the time. So that imagine how hard that must be, like to have an oxygen tank with you all the time. As far as we know, he is still alive today. But I mean, I can't imagine how hard it must be for him to live like that. And I mean, I felt that that taught me that the key to like something like a sad picture. It doesn't matter about the angle or the quality of the photo. If it's a sad, meaningful picture, you can just do something with it. Like if you just, I don't know how to say this. Like if you just show it in the right way, you can start something good. So I just want to say thank you to the Pulitzer Center for working with ITS, and thank you for your time and have a good night.
Do we have any more questions from the audience? I have questions, y'all go. In the vest.
I need the mic.
He
has a great voice. It's sort of a 2-part question. So first one is, how long did you guys wait for that perfect picture? And how did you know when you had it?
Tough one.
Well, I mean, sometimes if you saw a picture, like you couldn't wait, you just had to take it because, like, let's say someone was moving and well, they're gonna keep on moving, so you have to take it quickly. Like, you can't wait. But sometimes people would like do post photos, so those were easier.
What are those called?
Pictures.
Those photos. You guys know this.
Portraits.
That's right. Only.
We had to take a couple pictures multiple times just to get it the right way. Some pictures were too bright, some pictures were too dark. Some pictures weren't at the right angle we wanted them at, so we had to keep taking them until we had the right angle, get rid of all the other photos, and save one or two that are the best out of all of them.
When I took the photos, after I saw them, I just had a feeling that it was right for me and I liked how it looked. So, but it might have taken like a few tries because if we don't feel it's right, it's not right. You gotta let your feelings decide the photo you like.
So a way to pick, like, when you know that you have the right picture, well, I had my aunt, she was doing this movie, and she would sit in her car and take videos of people running. She literally just, like, stalked them. Well, like, a good way to choose and everything is that, like Owen said earlier, it's just, like, when you get, but it actually does depend on the way you take it, because it could be a completely sad event, but it can make you laugh. And, like, it's just, like, it can be really hard because you want to, like, take it correctly and everything, but but yeah.
One more. Thank you so much.
So finding the right picture is easy sometimes if you pay close enough attention. So like if sometimes it would be like right in front of you, sometimes you just have to pay attention.
Did you guys find that you paid more attention to what was around you as it went on?
Yes.
Or
I did. In reality, nobody ever really pays attention to what's happening in the world, especially in this generation.
Every generation.
One or two. What was a difficulty in the process that you may have had to work through that you persevered through?
We have to answer that.
Okay.
Well, it's mostly just the lighting.
Some of the problems I had was holding the camera really still so the photo won't be shaky or blurry, and especially with the light, it won't be making lines all over the screen.
One problem was like if you had shadows or like those could really mess it up. Or another thing is if people are running or something, you have to like let the camera focus on them. So that's tough. One problem that I had was I was going to take a picture of my family, but the little one would stop moving. So I decided to do older kids. Another difficulty is basically trying to get a shadow and an angle.
All right. How about one more question from the audience? Make it a good one. No pressure. All right. You guys answer? Thanks.
I have to say, I really loved all the photos, but I also loved the captions. And I have a question about what you learned from the workshops. And several of you talked about shadows and layering. So I was wondering if you could say a little bit more about those two things.
What I learned is that you can turn a really ugly thing into a beautiful photo.
What I learned
is that when, like, with my Martin Luther King photo over there, it's a shadow, and when I took it, I know that I'm close there, so I know that it's familiar to me. So I really liked it because it was one of my great pictures.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I learned doesn't have anything to do with light and shadow, but is that animals can be very photogenic.
What I learned is that any kind of picture can be really great if you just time it right.
Like if you take a picture, like sometimes things just like if you look at it, it doesn't look like it would be a good picture. But when you take it, it sometimes comes out really good. So another thing is like, so if you're taking a picture and someone's kind of in the way, and you never know this, but some person might just like come and find this little peep in between somebody and take a picture of you, trying to take a picture of someone. Like, right there.
Referring to anything
behind the
specific?
camera.
Anybody else have anything that they're dying to say? All right.
Caught red-handed.
Watch out for photo bombers.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you all. Yes.
Allison actually wants to say something.
Awesome. Allison Shelley, come on up here. So Allison is one of the Everyday Africa photographers. She actually just got back from a project in Haiti, and she led 2 workshops with these guys, so she knows them pretty well.
Yeah, so Pulitzer is great. I've had 3 grants from the Pulitzer Center over the last few years, and they've sent me to Nepal, Nigeria, and I just got back from Haiti where I covered the 5th anniversary of the big earthquake there, and a couple of different stories related to like land rights and things like that. But so, but it's always really fun to come back because you know, I come in and I this shows me why I'm doing what I do, because I can connect with people that get it, and these kids, they get it. Like, these kids are some of the smartest kids I've ever worked with, and it was amazing. It was so cool. Like, we had stuff ready for them, and we'd show it, and they would just make the most, you know, the smartest comments, and we sort of, you know, the next time I'd come in, I'd like wrap it up to the next level because I knew that these kids were going to be smart, and we covered a lot of ground, and you guys were all really engaged, and that was really cool. Everybody was asking questions, every single kid in the class. So I was very impressed by the students, and it was a lot of fun, and it helped me to think a lot about why I do what I do. So I want to thank all you parents who are the fixers, and thank you guys for your support of these great kids.
All right, so we'll adjourn. We can all stop cramming into this room, and you feel free to spread out into the reception area and keep checking out the photos and ask each other questions and ask the photographers questions, because I don't think they're done answering questions yet. Thank you all very much for coming.
If you're not leaving, you can go stand by your photo.
I hear the photographers are going to go stand by their
And I'm going to
photos.
move. Don't worry. I'm out of your way very soon. I'm moving.